It's time to get caught up on my book reviews. In the 22nd week of 2026, I read 3 books, and considering I was traveling internationally, jet-lagged, and very busy, I'm pretty proud of myself. Book reviews for weeks 23 and 24 will be posted across the next couple of days, so look out for those videos. The Dreadfuls by Rae Dunlap is a Victorian-era thriller, and it follows Dell, and she's a bit of a misfit and has been sent to a reform school. There she meets her roommate Pippa, and the pair become fast friends. They soon become obsessed with a serial killer on the loose and decide they're going to be the ones to find the killer. I really resonated with the main character in this story, and I really enjoyed her dynamic with her friend Pippa. I just always love an outcast story. Maybe that's because I've always felt like an outcast, but the connection between these two characters really kept me engaged throughout the entire story. Now, this is a YA thriller, and I will admit that it does feel like a YA book. The characters in this story are quite young, and they make decisions like somebody whose frontal lobe hasn't fully developed yet. This both infuriated me, and I also somehow found it a little bit charming. This book is deeply atmospheric. The gothic historical vibes are in the forefront of the story, and it just really transported me. That being said, I'm not really a huge gothic Victorian era dark academia type of reader. It's just not something I'm typically drawn towards. I definitely like more modern stories, and while I didn't struggle with those elements at all, they just didn't really resonate with me as a reader. Overall, I had a good time with this. It was easy to read and easy to fly through, but it's definitely not becoming like one of my favorite reads by any means, but I don't have anything bad to say about it. I'm rating it 3.5 stars. It's Not What You Think by Clare Mackintosh comes out on September 22nd in the US. I got my copy in the airport in London, and if you really want to get your hands on it early, you can order it from Blackwell's with free shipping to the US. This follows a woman named Nadika, and she believes that her boyfriend Jamie is cheating on her. She rushes home to confront him, but instead she's confronted with the fact that he's no longer alive. It becomes clear very quickly that Jamie isn't exactly who she thought he was, and as this case unfolds, nothing is quite what it seems. I think the title for this is very fitting because this did not go in a direction I was anticipating at all. I really appreciated the social and political commentary in this story. Some very heavy topics are covered, such as racial injustice, hive mentality, heavy manipulation, and some other really heavy-hitting topics that I won't tell you because that would totally ruin where this book goes for you. I will say that there is a bit of an element of, for me personally, that's not typically something I enjoy, but the way that it was approached in this story really worked for me. This is one of those times where I wish I could just do a spoiler review because I have so many thoughts about the direction that this story took, but especially considering that this book isn't even out in the US, I can't do that. But let's just say I was fully engaged the entire time. There were twists that I was not expecting. There is so much drama, and so much of this story shook me to my core. I gotta say, my biggest qualm with this story is the lack of communication and my disbelief in their lack of communication between Nadika and her boyfriend Jamie. I'm just like, how do couples not talk to each other about everything? Me and my husband certainly do. Anyway, this was a really good time, and you guys should definitely pre-order it or get it from Blackwell's with free shipping to the US. I rated it 4.25 stars. Marion by Leah Rowan is a slasher-esque thriller. This is a feminist retelling of the classic Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. But in this story, we follow Marion, and it begs the question, what happened if Marion was never killed by Norman? Of course, if you know the story of Psycho, you'll know elements of this story, but I will just say the female rage in this is unmatched. I had such a good time while I was reading this story. I honestly love retellings because I like the familiarity with the characters, but I will say I couldn't stop picturing Norm as Freddie Highmore from Bates Motel. But honestly, he's my favorite version of Norman Bates, so that adds up, I guess. This is equal parts feminist serial killer on the loose meets missing persons mystery. We're of course following Marion as she is making her way through terrible men. But then we also get a POV from a private detective named Hannah who is looking for a missing girl. These two POVs of course intertwine, and I just had such a good time discovering what that connection was. Not to say it totally blew me away, it definitely didn't, but it was satisfying. Overall, I had a really great time reading this book. I really loved all of the vibes. I really enjoyed the feminine rage. I really enjoyed Marion as a character. I really enjoyed the way this story was told. I really enjoyed the dark comedy. And I really enjoyed how it felt familiar, yet original. This is definitely going to be a go-to recommendation from me. I rated it 4.5 stars. Thank you for watching. My favorite of the 3 was Marion by Leah Rowan. If you remember your favorite book from 3 weeks ago, please let me know in the comments.